What is going on, guys? My name is Patrick, aka Chief Pat, and today bringing you guys my top 4 troop rankings. And when it comes to ranking the troops, instead of just doing what's the strongest troop or something like that, I developed a little bit of a criteria. And before I tell you guys my top 4, let me tell you what I judge them on. So number 1, I judge them on design and appearance. So what troops look really good? Do they have any sort of special abilities? That definitely factors into the rankings. Number 2, I factored in the usefulness. So are they used in a lot of different army compositions? How effective are they? And then number 3, versatility. So can these troops be used to do different things? Do they really only serve one purpose? And those are really the 3 things that I looked at. So overall, making the top 4 was sort of difficult. Honestly, the first one was really easy, my number 1 troop. But number 4, I put a lot of effort into thinking about, and I think I came up with a pretty good top 4. And if you guys have a different top 4, you can drop a comment in the comment section below. So let's go ahead and start with number 4. Again, this was the most difficult one to think of, and in the end, I ended up settling with the Barbarian. So even though the people might think the Barbarian is a pretty boring troop, I think it's definitely a staple of Clash of Clans. So as far as design and appearance goes, whenever you think about Clash, the Barbarian is the first thing that pops up. And then as far as usefulness and versatility, the Barbarian is definitely pretty underrated. So for the different amount of army compositions you can use Barbarians in, pretty much Town Hall 9 and below, people use it nonstop for whether it's farming, using Barch. In certain army compositions, people use them to destroy stuff on the outside. And then you can even use them in Town Hall 10 and the Champions League when you're using Barch to climb trophies. And yeah, it's pretty effective when you're trophy pushing. It's pretty effective when you're farming. Also, another thing that I factored in when I put Barbarians at number 4 is they're also used to lure out the clan castle troops pretty efficiently. So that's why I picked Barbarian. It was a pretty tough choice. There were some other really cool troops that I had to leave off, but I thought it was a pretty well-rounded troop, and seeing as it's the face of Clash, I had to include it inside of my top 4. Alright, so number 3 is the Golem, and I really like the Golem as a troop, and let me tell you why I put it as number 3 on my list. So before the Golem came out, it was sort of hard to find diversity when you were doing ground attacks, but right when they released the Golems sprouted out a bunch of different attack strategies because you had your main front line by dropping the big Golem. So with the Golems, we had Go Wee Wee, we had Go Wipe, we had Go Vape. Pretty much all of the major ground attacks develop, or I guess derive from having Golems. So you can pretty much put Golems up front, use different troops behind them, and experiment to use whatever you want. So this wouldn't be the case if you're using Giants or something like that, and Golems really changed the game because they made a bunch of different ground attacks viable. Also, I think the Golems look pretty cool, especially when they're maxed out with their purple little spike mohawks. In the beginning, they might be sort of boring when they're gray, but definitely when they're maxed out, they look really good. And they're definitely a really versatile troop, so I'm putting the Golems at number 3 on my list. Number 2 is definitely a classic, probably the most popular troop inside of the game, which is the Archer. And the Archers can be used and I mean, when I say anywhere, Archers can be used anywhere. They're used in Barch, they're used in other farming compositions, they're used in trophy hunting, they're used with Giant Healer. They're pretty much, if you need damage in any point of your raid, you're either going to take Wizards if you can spend the elixir on it, or you're going to take Archers. Archers are definitely, I'd say, the most versatile troop in the game. You can use them in pretty much every single attack strategy, unless it's an air attack, obviously. Even in air attacks, you can use Archers to pick off buildings on the outside to get the extra percentage points you need in a raid. It's never a bad idea to have at least 2 to 5 Archers in any army composition, just so you can pick up buildings on the outside, and they serve a great purpose inside of the game. So I think the Archers are really good. I don't think they're necessarily the best designed troop. Again, they were the second troop, I guess, ever created inside of the game, but I think they definitely serve their purpose. They're super versatile. You can use them in literally every single army composition, so that's why the Archer ends up number 2 on my list. Number 1, this one is by far and away my favorite troop in the game. When they released it, it took the game to a whole nother level because it was so in-depth and such a cool troop, and that definitely has to be the Witch. I don't know how you could argue with the Witch unless you guys have a different opinion in the comment section below, but when the Witches first came out, I remember when I got them and I dropped my first Witch and I saw it spawn the skeletons. It was literally the coolest thing inside of Clash. Like, the Witch is so far and above any other troop, it's ridiculous. The fact that they can spawn the Witch, like, first of all, design and appearance wise, they're by far and away number 1. Usefulness, when they came out, they were like the number 1 army composition. You pretty much just bring 20 witches and a bunch of lightning spells and demolish an entire base, but still they find their place now in different trophy pushing strategies, and they definitely are still super powerful inside of the game. So you use them to destroy clan castle units, you can use them in Go Wee Wee, you can use them in Go Wipe. They're pretty much used in a majority of the high level ground attacks, so I'm a really big fan of the Witch, and that's why I took the number 1 spot on my list. So that's my top 4. Number 4, Barbarian. Number 3, Golem. Number 2, Archer. And number 1 witch. If you guys have a different opinion, let me know with a comment in the comments section below, and I'm pretty interested to see what you guys think, especially when it comes to the number 1 troop. Certain troops I had to leave off, like I really love the Hog Rider. I think it's a pretty cool troop. I think it's really well designed, but the thing is with the Hog Riders, you can only use them in so many scenarios. You're either using like actually, they are coming back in certain army compositions, so I guess I have to factor them in. I'd probably put them at number 5, but certain troops just couldn't make the list, and unfortunately, I couldn't put everything in there. So yeah, that's going to do it for the video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, make sure you drop a like, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace out.